Juvenile Justice is that series you didn't think to watch but that simply came to your screen as if it were destiny. If you are looking for a series that causes you stress, curiosity, anger, and tears, then this is the one. The South Korean series that makes people talk is Juvenile Justice. Directed by Jong-Jong Chan and written by screenwriter Kim Min-suk, it premiered its first 10 episodes on February 25th and is currently one of the users' favorite series, to the point that it reached the top 10 most watched. Juvenile Justice is a very interesting K-drama, but completely removed from the style of recent Netflix hits such as death games, zombies, or other supernatural or romance stories. On this occasion, we find ourselves before a solid and insightful judicial drama that reflects deeply on youth violence, as well as on the social tools that are available to manage the eradication or reinsertion of juvenile delinquents. A judge infamous for her dislike of minors becomes the newly appointed judge of a juvenile court in the Yeonhwa district. She was a victim of juvenile delinquency in her youth, which helps her discover what it really means to be an adult. She faces several cases involving juvenile delinquents. Kim Hae-soo will star in the series as the infamous judge Shim Yeon-suk. The actress made a triumphant return to television after a 4-year absence, and to this day, she remains one of the most popular South Korean actresses, having started her career as a child actress in the late 1980s. The series consists of 10 episodes in which extremely serious cases such as gang, fraud, and abuse appear. To unravel the hidden truth that lies under the epidermis shown by the evidence, we have Judge Sim, a woman who claims to hate minor criminals and who pretends to be ruthless in making her decisions. A workplace transfer occurs at the same time that voices of protest against the minority law begin to be raised, calling for its abolition and that children who commit serious crimes receive a punishment according to the facts. And it is precisely a case involving kidnapping and mutilation that Shim must first see upon her arrival in Yeonhwa, which, as seen at the beginning of the series, was committed by a 13-year-old boy, so he is not subject to adult laws. But perhaps the accused teenager didn't act alone, as revealed by the calls he received on his cell phone and a security video recording, which shows a girl in the elevator on the day of the events with the little victim. She must work on this case and the following side by side with another judge, Cha Tae-ju, Kim Woo-yeol, a much softer and kinder man who focuses his efforts on understanding the motivations of the kids and fighting for their reinsertion beyond the sentence that is pronounced in court. The contrast of personalities is evident from the first moment. Even so, despite the fact that their methods are radically opposite, a cordial relationship of collaboration will emerge between the two based on the sense of integrity and justice that they both share. Despite the limitations, the judges go ahead and, thanks to their unorthodox methods, reaches the truth about the real culprit, closing the first chapter of a story that moves between legal drama and criminal investigation. Above them, they have Judge Kang Won-jung, Lee Sung-min on the court, who, more than helping his subordinate judges, puts obstacles in their investigations by wanting to avoid any type of media scandal that frustrates the ambitions of his political career. In the last chapters, this figure will be replaced by Na Gyun-hee, Lee Jong-yeon, an even stricter judge who arrives at the courts to speed up the procedures and unclog the accumulation of cases that Sim and Cha worked on. Both presiding judges act like police chiefs in a police station, as Sim is often involved in judicial investigations as if she were a detective. There is a certain approach to police intrigue in the series. On more than one occasion, we will see the judge carrying out investigations in the streets and risking her life to prosecute criminals in search of the necessary evidence to achieve the fairest possible trial for the victims. Juvenile Justice raises many questions about right and wrong, and it's not always in the subtle way, but just enough to keep us at the edge of our seats. The different cases are usually self-conclusive, however, the series made sure to somehow link them as cliffhangers so the plot keeps its timeline. One thing that stands out in this series' narrative is the way they make you empathize with both judges and the young delinquent. In terms of dialogue and controversy, the viewer is part of an imaginary court that forces them to question their own prejudices and beliefs about some issues. Beyond judging minors, it is emphasized that those guilty of crimes are not only them and that. Many times, the responsibility should be shared with their parents, schools, the environment, or public institutions. For someone like me who is quite skeptical about the human condition, I believe that there is some truth in all this, but we cannot always find a justification for people's behavior. Unfortunately, evil is also an emotion inherent to the human race. Throughout the chapters of Juvenile Justice, we will also see the weaknesses of the judges when some cases are related to their own lives and their daily behavior. It is a somewhat tricky way, but with a certain logic to increase the dose of emotion required by any fictional series in which you need to empathize with its characters. The latest Juvenile Justice case reveals why Judge Sim Yun-sok had so much hatred within her towards young delinquents. Her son had been by juvenile delinquents. Two boys, Hwang In-jun and Baek Do-yeon, had thrown a brick from the terrace and hit her son, who unfortunately died on the spot. From that moment on, hatred started to grow inside her. Years later, Yun-sok finds herself facing those two boys who were accused of a girl. There was a conflict of interest which she hid from others and became a judge in the case herself. Na Gyun-hee was appointed as the chief judge of the case. She was the same judge who had set those boys free in the brick case. Judge Sim recognized her the day she walked into her office. The trial lasted only 3 minutes, which infuriated Judge Sim even more. It only took 3 minutes for the convicts to be acquitted, even after taking the life of an innocent child. When Judge Sim sees them years later, she experiences the same agonizing pain all over again. She tells Baek Do-yeon that she got a second chance because of her age. She's distraught over the fact that they feel no remorse for their actions. Baek Do-yeon, Hwang In-jun, along with Dong-gyun and Kyung-soo were found guilty of and other crimes by Chief Judge Na Gyun-hee. 5 years had passed since her son's death, but Judge Sim couldn't seem to find an escape from all that hate. In each delinquent, she found the of her son. She believed that committing a crime is like a permanent mark, and like the behavioral traits of an individual, she stays with them for life. She held a grudge, but she didn't know that she herself was being consumed by it. From having an unshakable belief that criminals cannot be reformed to finally realizing that there are many reasons that must be taken into account, something changed within Judge Sim Yun-sok forever. For many reasons, Juvenile Justice is an exciting series that brings interesting questions to the table. It is a drama about justice, honor, and professionalism, but also about the ins and outs of an intricate and hermetic legal framework that is insufficient to deal with the real problems that happen on the street. The series has a splendid cast led by a charismatic Kim Hae-soo, in addition to a sober staging that often escapes from its comfort zone, and the common court story through an agile montage with a typical camera frames that serve to highlight the different power struggles in the relationship between characters. In terms of quality, without a doubt, Juvenile Justice will be one of the best Asian series this season, although probably not one of the most popular.